Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and gender non-conforming individuals to another episode of the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am your host, Benjamin Dixon. Today is Monday, September 9th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get right down to it. Several stories that I want to cover today. One is the pernicious and pervasive lie about Haitian immigrants in the city of Springfield, Ohio. I saw this lie unfold on social media over the weekend. We'll cover that. Also, there's this wonderful, and by wonderful, I mean effective. It's a mashup of the words of Christian nationalists and MAGA, what they plan to do, what they intend to do, and why they want to do it. I want to play the entire clip for you. It's about 5 minutes long, so I need you to buckle up and listen to it, and then we'll discuss after the fact. And last but not least, this endorsement that has come from Liz Cheney, which, that would be bad enough, but now Dick Cheney. If there's one person I tell you that I would hope everyone would reject, would be Dick Cheney, because I'm old enough to remember how and why we got into the Iraq War. Halliburton. I remember his role, but we'll discuss it. And it just really just shows you how completely upside down American politics are right now. But before I do begin, there's two versions of the clip that I'm going to share with you, or rather, there's two different things that I'm doing with this clip. When you hear what MAGA wants to do and you hear it in the format that was put together, I'm not sure who put it together, but I got it from Anonymous. I still follow them. I think they do great work. They shared it, but I'm not sure that they created it. But when you hear it, you'll understand why I just had to go into prayer. Now, I'm not going to share the prayer in this episode because I don't want to force that on anyone, but I am going to drop it as its own separate podcast because, folks, we need an intervention. Now, as we discuss it here on the podcast, that intervention is going to have to come from us. We are the people who have to do the work. Even in my faith, we have a scripture that says faith without works is dead. So there's literal, tangible, physical work that you and I need to do to make sure that these fascists do not get in power. But when you hear the depth of their hatred and you realize that they are in striking distance, you will forgive me if I just had to offer a prayer for America. And that prayer is very specific, that God would deliver us from his people. Yes, I'm one of God's people. I am a Christian. You know that. I don't have to go down my resume. You know exactly who I am, what I believe. I'm a pastor. I raise my children according to the word of God. All those things, yes. But the fact of the matter is that we need an intervention from Christianity on this planet, because the biggest threat to Christianity is Christian nationalism, without question. All right, that said, let's get into the news first. Remember the anti-immigrant story about the Venezuelans taking over an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado? Turns out that was a lie started by a PR firm. Well, there's a new lie this week because that lie ran its course, and there's nothing more that MAGA can do with that old lie because people now know it's a lie. And so they're spreading a new lie to make you afraid of immigrants. This time it is so absurd, but it made its way all the way from Facebook to the United States Senate through J.D. Vance. The lie? That Haitians have taken over Springfield, Ohio, and they are killing people's cats, eating their pets, and going to the park, killing ducks and eating all the ducks. That's the lie. And as absurd as it is at face value, as racist as it is at face value, that doesn't matter because MAGA has mastered the art of lies. How do we know it's a lie? And Springfield police say that there are no reports of pets stolen after a viral social media post. The Springfield Police Division said Monday morning that they have received no reports related to pets being stolen and eaten. A social media post originally from a Springfield Facebook group went viral nationally in recent days. The original poster did not cite firsthand knowledge of an incident. Instead, they claimed that their neighbor's daughter's friend had lost her cat and found it hanging from a branch at a Haitian neighbor's home being carved up and eaten. The poster also claimed rangers and police told them that they had been doing it at a Snyder Park too with ducks and geese. Springfield police said they were aware of the social media posts, but that this was not something that's on our radar right now. The post received tens of thousands of impressions. This is the anatomy of a lie. It has gotten so big that it's made its way all the way to the Republican vice presidential candidate for president, J.D. Vance, who did a kind of sleight of hand. Today at a Senate hearing, J.D. Vance brought up the issue of housing as it relates to Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio.
Chairman Brown, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to submit a letter for the record from the city of Springfield in our state, the southwestern part of our state, which I think highlights a very real example of this particular concern, straight from the horse's mouth itself. And now this letter, I want to quote from it. Springfield has seen a surge in population through immigration that has significantly impacted our ability as a community to produce enough housing opportunities for all. Springfield's Haitian population has increased 15 to 20,000 over the last 4 years in a community of under 60,000 previous residents, putting a significant strain on our resources and ability to provide ample housing for all of our residents. And end quote there. And Mike.
But on his Twitter page, he took the same exact story that talked about Haitians eating the cats of people in Springfield and spread that, attached his video so he could have a 2-for-1. Where he didn't actually enter the lie into the Senate record, but he got the bang for his buck by using the lie on Twitter. Elon Musk shared the same lie. Charlie Kirk shared the same lie. Benny Johnson, who, by the way, was taking $100,000 per episode from Vladimir Putin, shared the lie. Tim Pool, who also was taking $100,000 per episode from Vladimir Putin, shared the lie. Dom Filthy Lucre shared the lie. End Wokeness share the lie. Donald Trump Jr. share the lie. And it has been circulated all throughout the social media echo chamber. Thousands and thousands of bots are sharing this one lie. They've created the narrative, and the narrative is so strong that it has completely usurped last week's lie. Last week's lie was that Venezuelan gangs had taken over an apartment in Aurora, Colorado. Turns out that lie was fostered and facilitated by a PR firm that was hired by the slumlord landlord of that property to avoid all the accusations of him being a bad landlord. But that didn't stop the lie from spreading. We have a significant problem in this country. And the problem is that half of this country doesn't think twice about spreading a malicious lie that will get people killed, that will lead to a critical mass moment. Every single one of these lies is designed to make you okay with them treating immigrants and migrants and asylum seekers however they want. It's designed to make you turn away so that when they go door to door to deport 10 million migrants and 10 million immigrants, that you will say nothing. And it's a way for them to work themselves up into a frenzy, because you understand, for you to do what Donald Trump said, which is in order to remove them, it's going to be bloody.
But in Colorado, they've taken over. I mean, in Colorado, they're so brazen, they're taking over sections of the state. And, you know, getting them out will be a bloody story.
So for you to be okay with that, they have to make you feel like these immigrants and these asylum seekers are less than human. So they have to spread every lie they can. And they have the perfect apparatus to do it through social media, through Twitter, specifically Elon Musk, X. They have the ability to spread lies at the speed of light, at the speed of information. And it takes way more time for you to debunk a lie, if you're even able to get a chance to debunk the lie. But even if you do debunk the lie, the debunking of the lie never travels as far as the lie itself. This is perhaps one of the most frustrating things about this moment, right? This is what's so disturbing about the times in which we live. We live amongst people who have no reservation about spreading lies because they have every intention of enacting violence based on those lies. But the machine, the mechanisms, the way that they're able to get critical mass and to spread this to millions of people so quickly is so dangerous to humanity. And yet it's nothing but a game to them. They know they're lying. All of them. They're laughing as they cash their checks because they get all the views off of the lies. They get all of the YouTube clicks off of the lies and off the anger. They know that what they're telling their audience is not true, but that doesn't matter. They still get paid the same. And for those who don't get paid and they're doing this because they just are really committed to their hatred, they're even more dangerous. Because they're not getting paid to spread the lie. They're spreading the lies because they want violence against immigrants in this country. And yet every single one of them are going to post something about Jesus. They're going to post scriptures every single morning about how they love the Lord. Yet the rest of the day is going to be filled with nothing but lies, hatred, vitriol, bigotry, and against a group that the Bible already told them they should treat as their own neighbors. They should treat immigrants as themselves. They should treat migrants as people who are from their own country. It's both the hypocrisy and the efficiency of their hypocrisy that I must admit is a little bit triggering. It took everything in me. Matter of fact, I had to delete a couple of tweets because I'm sure I called a whole lot of them variations of saltines. Because it is extremely infuriating to see how powerful lies are in this country. But this is America. And this is the business plan. This is the strategy. You can guarantee every major story that is promoted by Republicans, by MAGA, by conservatives is rooted in some level of lie. If it's not an outright lie, it's a distortion of the truth. If it's not a distortion of the truth, it's a manipulation of the facts. It is the removal of context. And here's the kicker. Conservatives demand that you give their stories precision and context and nuance. But when it's a lie from them, they completely erase context and nuance and specifics. And if they can't do that, they will just outright lie and tell you that the grass is blue and that the sky is green. Why? Because they have enough supporters who will just get a laugh and a kick out of the lie. They will retweet it. They have no integrity because their audience doesn't want them to have integrity. If conservatives had integrity, they would not have a political ideology. If MAGA actually had integrity, MAGA would not exist. Everything that you read from these people, you can almost guarantee it is rooted in a lie because story after story after story, the lie makes itself known only after millions of people have made themselves angry enough to enact violence based on the lie. And what does it matter at that point? When you can get critical mass, when you can get policy passed, when you can get people worked into a frenzy and they go out and act out violently on your lie, what does it matter that you correct the lie later? It doesn't, because MAGA understands the power of lies. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
Yeah, look, I'm in line with the stars, I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I'm never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap, got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking tight.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Yep. Welcome back. Welcome back. Folks, I need you to buckle in. I normally don't play segments this long, clips of other people's work this long, but this is a mashup of the voices of Christian nationalism in their own words. And I want to preface this by saying, do not let this depress you. Do not let this scare you. Let this motivate you so that you pick up a phone and that you call someone that you know is sitting on the fence. Text someone that you know is sitting on the fence. Maybe they're not going to vote at all. You need to share this with them. So whether you share this video or not, you need to listen to this video and listen to this audio and let it be the motivation for you getting to work, even if it's hard to do. I know how difficult it is to talk to people about politics. That's why it took me so long to start my show. I think I thought about doing this show for about a year before I actually did it, because it's hard to talk about politics. It's even harder to do it in person. So I don't envy anyone who has anxiety around that. But when you hear what these devils want to do, don't let it scare you. Let it mobilize you. Buckle up. It's about 5 minutes long, and then we discuss afterwards.
Christian nationalism is on the rise, and people are thirsty for it. They are hungry for this. And we are the Christian Taliban. And we will not stop until The Handmaid's Tale is a reality. And even worse than that.
We need total dictator Trump. I seriously, and there's no argument against it. Oh, the Constitution says this. It's like the Constitution is invalid.
Donald Trump carries the prophetic seal of the calling of God. If you are anointed by Yahweh for a specific plan and purpose, you are a Messiah.
Men make stronger leaders. Men are just better. Men are awesome. I am a firm believer in the patriarchy. I'm a misogynist. You could definitely claim that. You could say I'm a sexist, absolutely.
It's not enough to be against blue-haired feminism. You got to be against women getting educated. Okay? Or else, what are we really trying to achieve here? 1999? We want to go back to the Middle Ages.
See the whole everything going on with Roe, for example, right now, and all the left, becoming completely uncorked, losing their minds. They're saying they're coming after your gay marriage next. They're coming after your birth control after that and everything else. Well, you know what? Yeah. Absolutely.
There was this article from The Atlantic where it's like, well, Alito is on a mission to roll back the past 100 years of rights that were given to women. Yes, that is what we're doing. And it's only going to get worse for you.
They care so much about everybody voting in democracy, and it's like if you went back to the founding, and the founding fathers would have said something to the effect of like, yeah, women and probably feminine men shouldn't be allowed to vote because then their chaotic nature would manifest throughout society.
That's right. I think our government should be run 100% by Christians. No Hindus allowed, no Muslims allowed. It says, let the women learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man. So how is it that Christian women should be voting?
America is a white and Christian nation, and this should not be controversial.
Joe Biden's a disgrace to this country.
He's a disgrace, and so are all the left and the rhinos, the globalists.
They Joe Mall.
Yeah.
Joe Mall.
I agree with you on that.
America was built by and for the white Christian people of this nation.
The Bible says, obey them that have the rule over you. So women, to make your husband's job easier, just obey what he says. When he tells you to do something, just do it.
Women are dumber than men. Women should be subservient to men. Women have no place in male activities. Women have no place in partaking in the workforce. Women have no place in partaking in politics. Women have no place outside of the home. The home is a virtuous place for women. Women should be happy when they are in the home. Women should be grateful when a man puts a roof over her head.
If you're a man and your wife has pants, throw them away. I don't want her to be ever publicly being in public wearing pants.
My goal is to break American democracy.
Here would be my solution. Elect a dictator, suspend the laws, dismiss the legislature, and the dictator uses the money to raise an army that is personally loyal to him.
The greatest example of love is to kill those traitors so others learn never to do it.
We need to hold people for treason, start having some public hearings, and start executing people who are found guilty for their treasonous acts against the Constitution of the United States of America, just like they did back in 1776.
If for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should, and decides to put out the tweet that says, "My fellow Americans, it's time to take up arms against these," you are all in under an hour.
And today, we're going rhino hunting. Join the MAGA crew. Get a rhino hunting permit. There's no bagging limit, no tagging limit, and it doesn't expire until we save our country.
We need to start to roll things back in order to begin to restore order. And yes, that might look like rolling back the rights of women over the past 100 years. That's probably going to look exactly like that, but that is what is needed to be done.
We need to be the party of nationalism, and I'm a Christian and I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists.
We need to go back to burning women alive more. We stopped doing that, and then everything went out of control.
There's something next on the horizon, because gay marriage is going to be going away. Contraceptives are going to be going away, and many other things are going to be going away, because there is a true rise of Christian nationalism in this country.
We will then collect the power needed to silence, destroy, and imprison our political opposition.
This country is so gay. I hate this country. I hate this country. I hate this country.
I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Christian nationalism is the biggest threat to humanity right now. Those people who carry the name of Christ, those people who carry the name of Jesus, and they do so in the way that you just saw in that video. Without question, humanity is in need of an intervention from Christians. Without question, humanity is in need of an intervention from this very specific cult of small men who perhaps are dissatisfied with the fact that they couldn't get as many women as they wanted to growing up. They are involuntarily celibate. They cannot command women to like them. They can't force women to like them. And so they have developed this deep-seated hatred, this deep-seated disdain for women, for immigrants, for black people. They hate everyone that is not like them so much that they have worked themselves into a frenzy. They have worked themselves into a state of violence. They dream about, fantasize about carrying out these acts of violence. Why? All because they hate someone else. Not in order to, there's no threat to their lives. There's no threat to their freedoms. They are the most free people on the face of the planet, with the most economic power, with the most political power, with the most power to commit violence and get away with it. They are the most free people on the face of the planet, but because they need and they crave and they desire violence. They desire the very bigotry that drives them. It is an animating force. It's what gives them life. It's what gives them purpose. Their hatred of other people is what makes them who they are. They cannot define themselves by their love. Their only love is the love of hatred, the love of violence, the love of subjugation. And they have mobilized. They have organized, and they are prepared. They are prepared to strike. From the federal level all the way down to your local neighborhood, there are militias all over this country training little toy soldiers with real guns, small men with big egos, training them to go door to door underneath the auspices of removing immigrants. But they're not going to stop there. And so if we're silent about what they're trying to do to immigrants, then who is going to speak up for us when they come and knock on our door? We need an intervention from Christianity. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. They are all a part of a machine that is well-oiled, well-financed, well-organized, and ready to strike if we don't stop them. We must collectively as a people, regardless of what you believe or don't believe, we must organize together to do this ourselves. It's not only voting, but my goodness, the least that you can do to stop this is vote. The least that we can do is to get up and make sure that they do not take political power. And then the fight begins because they're not going anywhere. We are dealing with a mindset. We're dealing with a way of thinking that will never go anywhere. So we must be forever vigilant, always prepared to strike back against this ignorance, this bigotry, this hatred that animates their lives. It gives them purpose. They were rejected one time by a girl and now they're ready to shoot up a whole school. But there's no question about it. Evil is organizing. They've found each other online, and they've created communities of hostility. They've created communities of bigotry. They've created communities that foster violence, and they're encouraging, working each other up to a point where they can get critical mass. And that critical mass will be a massive movement of violence like we haven't seen on American soil in our lifetimes. I'm a very spiritual man, but I'm also a very practical man. And so while I'm praying, I'm organizing. While I'm calling on an intervention from the Lord, I want to encourage every single one of you to organize for yourself. I don't care what you believe. I don't care who you love. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what nation you're from. I don't care how you identify. I don't care what your pronouns are. Your personal identity, who you love and what you believe, that is your business and none of mine. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. But I can tell you this much. These people who are crawling on the same Lord that I pray to, these people have throughout history enacted the most violence that we have ever seen, from the Crusades to the Salem witch trials, to the Inquisition, to slavery, to Jim Crow, to all of the lynchings that we see, to the organized violence that we've seen in our country. We understand very clearly the source of it has always had its roots in small men who use the ideas of religion to justify their hatred. And this is where we are again. And this time it has been matched and paired with MAGA, with Make America Great Again. They have now a political ideology. They have a religious ideology. And now they're ready to execute their violent ideology. It does not matter what you believe. All you have to believe is that every person has the right to exist, no matter who they are, no matter who they love, no matter how they identify. Every person has a right to live. Everyone has a right to pursue happiness. Everyone has the right to live outside of the control and the subjugation of the small men and the small mentality that you just saw in that video. Remember, folks, don't let this intimidate you. Don't let this scare you. Let it mobilize you. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
Outside they unruly, but I keep it cool, they can't press me. I keep it pure with intention. They see what I'm on, ain't no vixen. I might slide through with that top down. I keep it tuned with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on God, can't pause. Look at how far we progress.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Yep.
Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Yep. All right. Welcome back. I don't have much time left before I'm at my 30-minute mark, but I don't really want to talk about this man that long. Dick Cheney, the architect of the Iraq War, the warmonger in chief, the greatest war criminal who is currently living in my estimation. Or is what's his name still living? Henry Kissinger? It's a toss-up between, if Henry Kissinger is still alive, I'm sure I could have Googled it, but I'm not. It's a toss-up between those two. He is voting for Kamala Harris. And of course, this has created the perfect storm for these leftists who think they're more leftist than thou. They're further left than Ben Dixon. Fine, that's cool. It has given them the perfect talking point, like Jill Stein and Tulsi Gabbard, who's voting for Donald Trump, supporting Donald Trump. It's given them the perfect ammunition that they need to attack Kamala as a warmonger. But it should really just show you how utterly upside down American politics have become. And further, I won't even, I'm not even going to discuss it in terms of democracy because, I'm sure Dick Cheney feels like he's doing what's best for democracy. And I can't disagree with that logic that he would be using because Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. But I just don't want an endorsement from Dick Cheney. I just don't. I don't care. I feel like America would be better had Dick Cheney never been born. The world would be better if Dick Cheney had never been born. In fact, I think his endorsement is so toxic that it does more damage to Kamala Harris than it does good. In fact, it's so toxic, I feel like it's a sabotage. I'm going off the deep end here. I feel like he did it just to hurt her. If he really wanted Kamala to win, he should have just kept his mouth shut, because there's not been a person on the face of the planet more destructive to human life than Dick Cheney. I'm actually running numbers in my head now. He's in the millions. He and George Bush, right? But it's reflective. It is reflective of how completely and utterly twisted American politics are in this moment, that you have so many Republicans so far right, but they're like, well, she's not Trump, so we're going to support her. I just wish that some of you would just keep it to yourself. I don't have a deep philosophical opinion on this one. I can't. It's a visceral reaction. It's the limit. It is. I can't even go that far. I won't say that it is as far as I can go. I can't go that far. I can't fix my mouth to say, well, he's making the right decision for democracy. No. Dick Cheney can go to hell. In fact, I'm quite sure that he will. The entirety of the international stage is right now a result of the geopolitical decisions of Dick Cheney that he spoon-fed to George W. Bush, because George W. Bush was a moron who did whatever his vice president said do. The world that we live in now is a direct extension of the destabilized world that he created. The beginning of the end of the democracy began easily. Scholars would really say it started in black scholars particularly, and I agree with them. It began in 1776. The fact that we enshrined in our Constitution something that was the bigotry, the racism, the slavery, that it was going to come back and bite us in the end. It has. But the most recent vector that has destroyed our democracy began with the Supreme Court decision that was facilitated in 2000 by the efforts of the George W. Bush and Dick Cheney campaign. The Brooks Brothers riot. The first January 6th was the Brooks Brothers riot. So is this going to change my mind about Kamala? Absolutely not. I just really kind of feel dirty that he's even in this camp. The camp has gotten so big. And I guess you could just summarize the camp of anybody who understands Trump is a threat to democracy. Well, Dick Cheney was a threat to human life. So is Donald Trump. So, somebody was asking me on Twitter. Oh, no, it wasn't somebody asking me. It was Alex Jones saying, I wonder what leftists are going to say about Dick Cheney. Do they have their talking points? I don't need talking points, Alex Jones. I'm confident of one thing. I don't have the power to send anyone to heaven or hell, but your decisions, Dick Cheney's decisions, and Donald Trump's decision, all of y'all are going to be in hell. I don't care who Dick Cheney votes for. The things that he did to the people of Iraq and Afghanistan, the things that he did to destabilize the Middle East in perpetuity. Yeah, he can vote for Kamala all he wants. I just wouldn't claim him, Kamala. Don't say anything good about him. Just kind of let it be a secret. See you tomorrow, folks.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.